Good afternoon, it's Miss Cleveland, and today we're going to talk about the USD 428 learning environments. My current learning environment, there's a few pictures for my traditional classroom. It's a bunch of just regular desks in my classroom in the middle, and then they are revamped. A few classes work together to make them more inviting. They were covered with these ugly green, pukey colored mats that made it really hard for students to work at the desk. So that was a huge improvement this year already, and I just hope to continue to improve that part. There are 21 of them, and it takes up a lot of my space, but I feel this part is a really good environment because it's very traditional and the students seem to enjoy it. Continued my learning environment. It's a few pictures of my desktop computer space. I have 20 desktops. They're along three different walls, as you can see. I have one long wall of 12 computers, and then I have the two shorter walls, 4 computers each. This space is not good. Only a few students can see my main screen when I'm lecturing, and they're just really crammed together. And then if I'm on one side of the room helping a student, it makes it really hard to get to the other side and back and forth. Also, if a similar question happens, it's hard for them to hear me talk to one student. And then if I turn my back to the classroom, I feel like a lot of off-task things happen. So I don't like that part of the learning environment as much, and we are working to improve that. It's just since so much electricity and outlets are needed, we have to make sure we want um, them moved where I actually want to stick my classroom for years to come. Um, some of the classrooms I visited around USD 428 these last few weeks was the manufacturing classroom. He has workstations along the walls and then computer stations in rows through the middle that face his main screen. I feel this is a good learning environment for students, so if some need to be at the workstations and then some need to be at the computers, they're not really distracting each other. They are their own separate space, so I think that helps with that classroom setup. Another one is I visited both art classrooms. I'll talk about the first one. There's a lot of storage around the outside. He has pods sitting in the middle, and then none of the students faces back faces the screen. So I thought that was really good and cool. I personally don't like pod sitting because I feel like it's a distraction to each of the students. A lot more talk happens. But for art, maybe it works for him. Um, he has a lot of examples around the room and then a lot of student work displayed. So I thought that helped and a lot of natural light. This is our second art classroom. Very similar, a lot of storage around the outside, just different style of storage. Again, pod seating in the middle. His I didn't feel as it was as good because he has some students where their backs are facing his main screen, so I feel like that may distract some or not let the other students get the full lecture as easy. But both really, they have good examples, good student work displayed. So other than the backs facing the main screen, I thought it was a good learning environment. The main business classroom. Computers are in rows facing the main board. There's not a lot of room to work, so group collaboration when it's needed is kind of hard and it's not really allowed. So I feel like other than that, this is a good learning environment also when lectures happen. This is our JAG classroom. The JAG is actually new this school year. It gives students the opportunity to job shadow and field for careers. So this classroom isn't used a lot because a lot of the students are out of the classroom during this time. But as for the learning environment that's set up, I think it's really good. I think one thing that could improve is more mobility with the tables, and I think it would be great. This is our media and journalism classroom space. There's a studio space, computers, and the workspace on the desk with storage. This space is way too small, and the teacher told me that he can't wait to get media space in a different room. So even with the space being really small, students are always out constantly capturing what's happening around, so they make the space work very well. Um, this is my dream space. So this is where I want my space to end up eventually, with the dual monitor desktop computer that has the hand drafting workspace all in one station, and then it also has the storage for the tools. And then the computers would be just in rows facing the front, and so and then I would have both a space in the front and then a space in the back for myself, one for just lecture and then one for everything else that goes on. And then these are a few resources I use to help me figure out what CTE classrooms people use around. And so that's kind of everything I have for you today.